Argumentation and explanatory virtues. When we engage in argumentation, especially in contexts of uncertainty, our goal is not merely to defend a position, but to discern which view offers the best explanation of a phenomenon. The framework for this discernment is provided by the 7 virtues of abductive arguments, also known as explanatory virtues. These are explanatoriness, how well the view accounts for the phenomenon; depth, the extent to which it illuminates underlying structures rather than surface details; power, its ability to unify diverse phenomena under a single explanatory framework; falsifiability, whether the view can, in principle, be tested and potentially disproven; modesty, avoiding unnecessary assumptions or extravagant claims; simplicity, preferring leaner explanations over convoluted ones; coherence, consistency with established knowledge and internal logical harmony. A view that embodies these virtues and is supported by sound argumentation provides strong evidence for adoption. While certainty may remain elusive, such a view carries a higher probability of yielding correct outcomes. The process of comparison between competing views unfolds in stages. Logical consistency. We first examine whether the view adheres to the laws of logic. If it violates them, it must be rejected, even if it appears persuasive at first glance. Rational rigor demands coherence. 2. Soundness. Next, we test whether the premises are true and whether the reasoning validly connects them to the conclusion. A view lacking soundness cannot be sustained. 3. Modal evaluation. We then consider the number of possible worlds in which the view holds true, and in virtue of what it is true. This modal analysis provides further evidence of its robustness. 4. Comparative superiority. Finally, if one view satisfies these criteria more fully than another, it provides good reason to adopt it. The virtues are not abstract ideals but practical tools for adjudicating disputes and guiding us toward the most rational choice. Thus, abductive argumentation is not a matter of intuition alone, but of disciplined comparison. By applying explanatory virtues, logical rigor, and modal reasoning, we can navigate uncertainty with structured clarity, arriving at views that are not only persuasive but probabilistically superior. Abductive argumentation and virtuous circularity. In the landscape of reasoning, arguments often appear to reduce to abductive structures. Deduction secures certainty only when premises are already granted, and induction generalizes from limited samples. Yet in practice, when we face contested views or uncertain phenomena, we turn to abduction, the inference to the best explanation. It is here that the 7 explanatory virtues become decisive: explanatoriness, depth, power, falsifiability, modesty, simplicity, and coherence. Abductive reasoning does not merely propose a hypothesis. It evaluates competing views by asking which explanation best satisfies these virtues. The process is comparative, probabilistic, and pragmatic. It acknowledges uncertainty, but seeks the most rationally defensible path forward. The role of virtuous circularity. A striking feature of abductive argumentation is what might be called virtuous circularity. At first glance, circularity is a flaw, an argument that presupposes what it seeks to prove. Yet in abductive contexts, a kind of disciplined circularity is unavoidable and even necessary. Explanatory virtues are justified by their success in guiding us toward better explanations, and better explanations are judged by their conformity to those virtues. The circle is not vicious but virtuous because self-reinforcement. The criteria validate themselves through repeated success in distinguishing stronger from weaker views. Operational necessity. Without such a framework, comparison of explanations would collapse into relativism. Conditional convergence. The circle tightens as views are tested against logic, soundness, and modal robustness, gradually filtering out weaker accounts. Thus, virtuous circularity is not a defect but a structural feature of rational inquiry. It is the scaffolding that allows abductive reasoning to function without demanding impossible foundations. The reduction of argumentation. Most arguments, when pressed to their limits, reduce to this abductive mode. Deductive and inductive reasoning ultimately feed into abductive comparisons. Deduction provides logical rigor, but its premises must themselves be justified abductively. Induction offers empirical generalizations, but their explanatory power is judged abductively. Here is the text to convert. Modal analysis of possible worlds enriches abductive evaluation by showing the breadth of a view's applicability. Everyday analogies. Detective work. Sherlock Holmes doesn't just collect clues, he asks which theory best explains them. His reliance on simplicity and coherence is abductive reasoning in action. Medical diagnosis. A doctor compares possible causes of symptoms. The explanation that is modest, no wild assumptions, falsifiable, can be tested, and powerful, accounts for multiple symptoms at once, is preferred. Daily life. When your car won't start, you weigh explanations: dead battery, empty fuel tank, faulty starter. You choose the one that best fits the evidence and is simplest to test. In this way, abductive reasoning becomes the final court of appeal. It is where disputes are adjudicated, not by absolute proof, but by comparative explanatory success. Conclusion. Argumentation, in its deepest form, is abductive. It thrives on explanatory virtues, and it sustains itself through virtuous circularity. Far from being a weakness, this circularity is the disciplined loop that keeps inquiry alive. Explanations justify the virtues, and the virtues justify explanations. Together, they provide the best available path through uncertainty, guiding us toward views that are not certain but are rationally superior.